Whether you're a business owner or someone looking to strengthen your communication skills, mastering the art of persuasion can change everything. Today we'll explore the psychology behind why people say yes and how you can ethically and effectively influence others in various areas of your life, from marketing and sales to leadership and relationships. And along the way, we'll touch on Robert Cialdini's groundbreaking principles of influence, share real-life stories, and provide actionable strategies to help you put persuasion into practice. So grab your notepad or settle into your walk and let's get started. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Her Business Podcast. I'm your host, Susie Daphnis. I'm the CEO at Her Business, and today I have a really great, really in-depth episode for you. We're going to be diving into the fascinating and essential world of persuasion. And persuasion is a skill that permeates every area of our lives. As leaders, our ability to persuade and communicate effectively is central to our success. And it's not just about getting more sales or signing contracts, it's about motivating our teams, negotiating better deals, and building lasting partnerships. So think about it. How many times have you asked your team to do something only to find it didn't happen? Or how often have you struggled to get your point across in a negotiation? Now, persuasion plays a role in all these scenarios, and it's about aligning others with your vision, your goals, and the outcomes that you want to achieve. But here's the thing, persuasion isn't just for business. It's about everyday life too. It's about influencing others in a way that's ethical and authentic. That's what we're going to talk about today. And it's even getting your partner to grab you a cup of tea or encouraging a friend to join your latest harebrained scheme. Now, Robert Cialdini is the author of the book Influence, which outlines key principles that explain why people say yes. And these principles, reciprocity, liking, social proof, authority, commitment and consistency, scarcity and unity, we're going to go into these, they are backed by decades of research, and they remain relevant to everything from marketing campaigns to customer service strategies. Now, I read this book in 1992. It was part of a curriculum that I was doing, learning to become a trainer way back then, and the book left such an impression on me that I have read it many times since and given literally hundreds of copies away to Her Business customers. So let's break down the seven principles and how they work in action. Now, some of these you would have heard because Dr. Cialdini's work has become, the language has crept into all areas of marketing, and lots of people use his work, and some of them give him credit and some of them don't, but I definitely do. And the first principle is that of reciprocity. And the idea of reciprocity is that we give value first. So as human beings, we feel compelled to return the favor when someone does something for us. Now, this could be as simple as sharing valuable content on social media, offering a free download to your clients, or providing a free trial. So, for example, if you host a webinar that delivers incredible value and you've given this away for free, attendees are more likely to say yes when you offer them a product or service that's paid at the end of it. And this principle even applies to everyday interactions. Have you ever got a small bonus or a freebie with a purchase, or felt more inclined to share your experience and leave a review when someone gave you something? That is reciprocity in action. So that's the first principle. The second one is liking. People say yes to those they like and those that are like them. And building liking comes down to relatability and authenticity. And this happens when you share your personal story, letting people see who you are and why you are like them. So maybe you're a small business owner who struggled to get to your first 6 figures. Maybe you're a parent juggling work and family. These sorts of stories, whatever your story is, that your clients can relate to, they create connection. People think, oh, she gets me. She's just like me. And that is so, so powerful. The third principle, and so we've done reciprocity and liking. The third one I want to share with you is Cialdini's principle of social proof. And this is the idea that people will follow what others do. So think about it. You're walking past 2 restaurants. One is packed and the other one is empty. Which one are you more likely to go into? Probably the busy one, right? So in your marketing, this could mean, how do you show social proof? You could share testimonials where other people have said great things about you, reviews, case studies, and highlighting how others have benefited from your product or service builds trust and it moves people closer to saying yes. The fourth principle is authority. And I love this one. And authority is all about demonstrating your expertise because we trust experts. So how are you showing your authority? Maybe it's through stating your qualifications. Maybe it's through awards that you've won. Maybe it's through media exposure that you've had. Maybe it's collaborations you've done with others in the industry that your clients would respect. Now, this principle of authority can also come into play through associations. So, for example, being featured alongside a respected brand or a thought leader can lend credibility to your work. The next principle, and I know I'm going pretty quickly through these, but I'm hoping you're kind of getting the idea of, and then I encourage you to go deeper into them. The sixth principle I want to talk about is what Cialdini calls commitment and consistency. So this principle taps into the idea that people want to stay consistent with their commitments. They want to stay true to their word. So if someone has said yes to a small step like downloading a resource or attending a webinar, they are more likely to say yes to the next step. So for example, let's use the webinar example. If you're running a webinar and you ask attendees, if you're serious about growing your business, would you be willing to book a call to discuss your next steps? That's a small commitment that could lead to something much bigger. That's commitment and consistency. And in the book Influence, there's lots of examples of this. And it's a very powerful one because we don't want to look flaky. We don't want to look inconsistent. When we take one action, we're more likely to take the next action if we are asked. And that leads us to the principle of scarcity. This is a really powerful one. And scarcity is the idea that people want what is rare or limited. Now, this could be a limited time offer, an exclusive event, or a product with limited availability. When people believe they might miss out, they're more likely to take action. Like we've all seen that countdown timer. It's like time is running out. I'm going to miss out, so I do something about it. And if we think back to something like, say, a Black Friday sale, you might offer a discount for the first 10 buyers. That's scarcity. Or you could say registrations close or this offer goes away in 48 hours. That's scarcity. That creates urgency and people act on this sort of urgency. And finally, I want to introduce you to the principle of unity. Now, the Influence book has been around for over 30 years. The unity principle was always there, but it was only made evident in the last few years when Dr. Cialdini brought it out as the seventh principle. And unity is this sense of belonging. And this is so important. It's about creating a shared identity with your audience. So think of it as a community or tribe where people feel like they're part of something bigger. So for example, if you're a business that promotes sustainability, you might highlight stories of customers who care about the environment. Or you might highlight the fact that you care about the environment. That is going to bring your tribe around you, people who also care about the environment. Or if you run a fitness studio, you can build a sense of unity by sharing success stories from your community. For us at Her Business, unity is about being part of a community of other women business owners, women who, like you, are looking to grow their business, women who, like you, are looking to get better at marketing, at systems, at planning, who want to feel good about themselves, who want a bank account that's healthy. And so by creating this community, women in our community feel that sense of belonging, that sense of unity, and it's a very, very powerful principle. So all 7 of these principles are going to drive your client or your ideal customer into making the decision that you're hoping they'll make. But the question comes up, how do you actually implement these 7 principles? Does every sales asset you create need to include all 7? Do you only focus on these principles? This is where it can get a little more complicated because as the marketing field expands and buyer behavior gets analyzed by different experts, more and more psychological triggers are discovered, talked about, and utilized. In fact, there are so many more than these base 7 that Cialdini speaks about, but these 7 are so essential in using in your marketing. Because if you just looked at your lead magnets, your sales pages, your website, your socials from these 7 elements, it'll revolutionize your marketing. We teach this inside of Her Business. We teach this inside, again, the book has been given to hundreds of our members. We teach this inside of our year-long mastermind. And so you want to use these, for example, let me give you an example of an ad. So say you're a fitness coach and you're creating an ad for your 30-day program. So you don't want to say, download my free fitness quiz. Here's what Karen said about my programs. I've been a fitness trainer for 20 years. I'm just like you. There's only a few spots left. Act now. You're not going to say it like that. But on your page, can you implement this information? So you're going to show your authority. So in your bio, you're going to talk about the experience you have as a fitness trainer. You're going to include some social proof by showing examples of some of the clients you've worked with. You're going to introduce reciprocity by maybe offering a free trial or a free download. And then commitment and consistency will come into the process with your follow-up emails or the follow-up actions that you take when people said, yeah, I'm interested in getting more fit, and then you invite them to do the next thing. See, so you want to look at where in the buyer's journey you can use these different things. And when you're starting to get known by people, that is where you want to use reciprocity. You're putting something out there for free. People are getting to know you. That's where you want to use liking. Oh, she's just like me. She's a mum just like me. She's a business owner just like me. Then when they're in that stage of consideration, looking at you like you might be an answer to their questions, that is where you would show your authority. That is where you would show your social proof. And then when it comes to asking for the sale, that is when you want to play the scarcity principle, right? That's where you want to say, well, I have limited capacity. I only have this many places. This offer goes away. And it's also where you can use that powerful commitment and consistency principle. Again, we're talking about using all these principles ethically. So social proof in the format of a testimonial in an ad that clearly displays what you're selling, and then strategically placing some copy that gives a sense of scarcity, winner, winner. Right? Maybe you're saying they're qualifying for a limited offer. Or your ad could highlight your authority by showing you in an authority position, giving valuable information, showing your smarts, and even imagery that might have you with your awards or certificates. A video ad might lean into liking where you're telling a relatable story or showing your audience behind the scenes content. Or, and this is quite common, you can use reciprocity through ads by promoting a freebie or a lead magnet like we mentioned. So you're spending money to give away something for free, but that's going to lead them into a funnel of making further micro commitments. That's the commitment and consistency in action. And the trick, say, with advertising is to keep your messaging concise and weaving these elements in depending where in the buyer's journey that person is. Let's talk about a multi-day email campaign. So email campaigns are an amazing way to layer these principles. So each email you send might focus on one of these principles or two of them. So let's look at an example. Maybe day one, you use reciprocity by offering a free resource, and you build liking by telling them a personal story. On day two, you can pull the authority principle out and use that by naturally mentioning your credentials and your experience, while sprinkling in maybe a little bit of social proof. Day three, you can start to talk about scarcity and emphasizing a limited time discount or highlighting an upcoming deadline that they want to make sure they do. And then day four, you can bring in unity. You can talk about the amazing clients that you work with, the people that they're going to be a part of, the community that you've created of people just like them. They will now be part of a group of people who've overcome diabetes through natural means, or a group of parents who now have kids who do better at school, whatever that unity is that you want to bring in. And don't forget, storytelling itself is an essential device through all of your messaging. Let's talk about a landing page. You can use them all together, making one big, beautiful, persuasive push. Now, if they're on a landing page, they may already have some free value from you. So perhaps your landing page is something they see after they download your lead magnet. Now, you're going to incorporate liking into all your copy, keeping your language really consistent with your branding and who you are, and creating a narrative through the page. Now, social proof is a must on any landing page. The testimonials, the case studies, the screenshots of comments people have made in your group, the statistics of who you've helped and what you've been able to do since you started doing what you do. And showing authority with a section that is about you, right? We don't want to go, well, who is this person? Tell us about you. Tell us that you've been a speech pathologist for 26 years, right? Tell us that you have these credentials and awards. And don't worry, you don't have to have all the papers, all the university degrees, but you have experience. And that's what you want to tell us about when you're demonstrating your authority. The other thing you can do is you can throw a banner up that shows the different media features that you have, or the things, the organizations you belong to that really elevate your authority. So get them to say, yeah, that's me. I totally relate, each step of your landing page. So those small steps along the way, them saying, yes, 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 she's like me. Yes, I see that she has authority. Yes, I see she's helped other people. The other thing that you can do on a landing page is use a countdown timer, and I mentioned that before. So this is where you bring in scarcity, but you don't want to do it too far out. So if you have 25 days to go with this offer, not a lot of scarcity, but once you get a little bit closer and you can put 7 days to go, 5 days to go, 2 hours to go, that's going to add a little more scarcity. And you want to echo that through your email communications and your socials as well. And throughout the page, unity is going to come from the community stories you highlight and the shared values that you promote, as I said. Now, I've given you a lot of information in this episode, but these are foundational pieces of information. That book sits next to my desk. My friend Michelle, with whom I do the Content Sales podcast and the mastermind, we always talk about how that book is always on our desk, because those principles, like when I do a piece of marketing, I go through and I go, okay, check, check, check. Do I have all these 7 elements on my page? I encourage you to get the book. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. It's readily available. There are many, many versions of it, and I think the latest version I think it was last redone about a year ago or 2 years ago. And it's quite dense because Dr. Cialdini is a professor. He's an academic. He's got lots of stories. These principles are incredible. If you get the chance, you can go to his website. I'll give you the details. Listen to him, watch his interviews, all excellent, excellent. He's been interviewed by some of the best of the best. He's amazing. Do let me know if you want a more thorough episode on any of these principles. I love talking about them. I love teaching about them. I love using them. So what I want you to do is to take a look at your marketing, look at your ads, look at your emails, run through your landing page with these fresh eyes. How can you incorporate these principles? And if you're saying, Susie, I don't even have a funnel yet, don't worry. You're in a better place than most business owners when they first put their assets together, because you know this information now. And I went through it pretty quickly. So if you need to rewind and go through it, or grab the book and just work through it. Or like I said, look up an interview with Dr. Cialdini. He really is one of my favorite people on the whole planet. He's super smart, very personable, and he tells a great story. So as we close, I do want to say persuasion is not about manipulation or pushy sales tactics. In fact, these principles are the opposite of saying, here's my thing, you should buy it. You're using a deep understanding of human psychology to create the authentic and meaningful connections that you want with your ideal customer. And using these principles ethically is going to build stronger relationships, it's going to inspire more action, and it's going to grow your business. Now, if you want deep dives into the psychology of sales and strategies that will actually get more clients and more sales, we have so many resources like this inside the Her Business Network. So if you want to be part of a community of women dedicated to growing their businesses and developing lives that they love, then grab a spot on the Her Business Network or wait list at herbusinessnetwork.com. We aren't open to new members just now, but just by getting on the wait list, you'll be the first to know when we open up some spots. And we have literally thousands of resources for women business owners, and we've got them categorized depending on what you want to do, whether you want to do better marketing, whether you want to up your game with social media, whether you want to build a team, whether you want better systems, whether you want more sustainability. And we have masterclasses, we have great events throughout the year. And more than that, we have this incredible community of like-minded women. So over on our show notes page at herbusiness.com/291, you're going to find a summary of what we've covered here today, as well as links to the resources that we've talked about here, including Dr. Cialdini's book. So join us on the next episode for more inspiring stories, more lessons from successful entrepreneurs, more great strategies to help you grow your business. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you would leave us a rating or a review. Apple Podcasts is the best place to do that, but you can also email me at podcast@herbusiness.com, or you can send me a direct message at Instagram. You'll find us at Her Business. And if you don't already follow us on Instagram, do, because we publish business tips many times a week, short, to the point tips that you can use in your business. And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe if you don't already subscribe, and listen out for next week's episode. Thank you so much for joining me right here on the Her Business Podcast. Bye for now.